Having conversations. This is who we are. This is couples.
Come on, y'all know what it is.
Real relationships. Real conversations.
How you gonna play it and then
This is who we are.
ready?
This is Couples Connect.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? We are live on YouTube, the after party of the show.
Listen,
We had an amazing episode talking about how busyness can affect your relationships.
definitely.
And how letting the things of life and work and everything else can like drain you
Yes.
of your energy and your time. That you're supposed to save a morsel of that
You are.
for each other. You
are.
So,
But let me shout you out with the editing skills.
Mm-hmm.
For our walk in the park, he had nice screenshots of our backyard, of our walking in the park. Well, we didn't walk in the park, walking in the community.
Yep, saw
looking
the lake.
at the lake and everything. And so y'all got to definitely check it out. That was by far my favorite.
Yeah, make sure y'all check that out. It was a fun episode to record with you, and it was a fun episode to edit and kind of put those little
And
things
to watch
in there.
back, I feel
Yeah,
like.
because we're
to
trying
watch it.
some new things with it. So make sure y'all check that out if you haven't. Of course, it's on the InspireU network, available on Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your mobile device.
Yep, Google Play, Android,
All
iPhone, iPad,
All that.
all those
all
spaces.
that.
So this week's episode was episode 4, and we
Mhm.
were talking about are we too busy for each other?
Yeah.
And I think this
The answer was
episode-
yes. For us, we do get lost in this hamster wheel mentality, hustle hard, grind and work till you die, and all of these different things that your culture has built, and we've just kind of like let it run rampant in our life,
and how that we had a really good conversation, I feel like, about how that type of dynamic, how it
Mhm.
plays out, like for us individually, and then how it plays out in our marriage, because we're individual people that show up in this marriage. And so
Right.
It was really good.
I thought it was great. When we're recording and we're talking, of course, we're having these genuine, transparent conversations. We don't really have a chance to I do, because I edit them.
Right.
But we don't really have a chance to listen back and really think on the things that we've said,
And I'm always
And-
and also for me too, because
Mhm.
I don't get to see the finished product until everybody else sees the finished product.
Mhm.
And we have recorded these things like a while ago.
Yeah.
And we're also continuously recording other things.
Mhm.
So sometimes I forget what we
Somebody told me, it
what
was
we
like,
actually
"Oh,
talked
I
about."
watched your second episode. It was amazing." I was like,
Right.
"What was the second
Which
episode
one was
again?"
that again? What was the topic?
Because we record so many episodes and things like that.
Yeah, we got to
so.
take out behind the scenes one day when
Mhm.
we are recording. But I think, and so to look back at it, just
Mhm.
looking at it from fresh eyes, it was really informative. And I think not just informative, but just really, I think, a true depiction of what life is like.
Yeah.
Like how we are just going and going and going. And then we have these expectations that in the midst of all the going that we're doing,
Mhm.
that this is going to be okay. Or it may
Yeah.
not even be this relationship. It could be another relationship, or
Yeah.
something else is going to be okay when we're not investing
Mhm.
the time in it.
Yeah. Or we get so lost in that culture, and that lifestyle. Really, we get lost in the lifestyle that we don't even realize the damage that it's doing
Right.
to the relationship until it's too
That is
late.
true.
Until people have exploded, or have
So they gone.
had meltdowns.
So they-
You know what I mean? Or have checked
Yeah.
out, till they're
Right,
gone.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
But we talked about in the episode just like a shifting of the mind.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things that stood out to me was the communication piece. So you, as the person who may be getting lost in the busyness and realizing that you need that downtime, realizing that you need to get that mental health space and decompress and all those types of things, we need to communicate that to our spouse.
True.
Because a lot of times we expect our spouse to just
know.
know and
I am guilty.
to catch on and to pick up the hints and see our face and just recognize. and granted, there should be a level of attentiveness
Right.
to each other, but we can't just leave it on that alone for our spouse to just pick up on.
And I want to add to that, being like the type of person that the type of individual that I am, when you get like laser focused. So sometimes you don't even realize that you're in need of that
Mm-hmm.
mental space time
Mm-hmm.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
just doing, trying to get it done.
Yeah.
And so you're not even aware that you're like exhausted or
Yeah.
you're depriving yourself of something. And so it is true, like you do need to communicate that. But
Mm-hmm.
then when the spouse is attentive, you're like, look, you're doing a lot. You say it to me all the time.
Yeah.
You're doing, because
You need to
I'll just be
rest.
going
You
and
need to
going. And
rest.
I'm
You
like,
just sit
okay, I could do that,
down.
I could do that, could do that.
Sometimes I tell her she need to sit down somewhere,
Yeah.
and just relax,
Take your
be
cape
in the
off.
moment. Yep. So, and a lot of times she like goes from one thing to the other, like with no break period. You know what I mean? Just switching as she's taking off a hat, she's putting another one on, and doesn't get
Y'all know
that.
how we do.
Yeah, don't get that chance to just kind of
To breathe.
breathe, take a
Yeah.
break, and then move to the next task. And a lot of times we don't, when we're in that mode, we don't realize it until our body starts to tell
Shut
us,
down.
like shut down. You start getting sick. You start getting more irritable. Um, Regular things that didn't bother you before now start bothering you. Like just a lot of different things that
Mhm.
are kind of like the after effect of those things when it could
Right.
have been proactively taken care of.
Right. And it's crazy because I mean, we need to breathe. We need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to breathe. We need
Yep.
our rest. Our bodies need that to even
Yep.
just really function. So I think it was I think this episode really hit home. I think there's so many ways that people can relate to that. And what we
Mm-hmm.
gave like about 5 or 6 tips
Yeah.
to help you guys slow down in
Mm-hmm.
ways that you can do this not only for yourself, but for your relationship. And I
Yeah.
know there was one in particular that, you talked about communicating,
Yeah.
right? But
Talked about communicating, and I think the reason why, the important thing about slowing down and to getting those periods of rest is so that you can show up for your spouse. So we
right,
talked about giving your best to your spouse. And we get in these spaces sometimes where we are giving our best to our job, we're giving our best to our kids, and we're giving our best to our friends and the girls and the boys and
mm-hmm,
whatever the case would be. And by the time we are with our spouse, we cannot show up fully.
right,
And I wanted to just kind of clarify a little bit. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't give a level of our best to our job. Of course, do your job and do it well. You
or
want to
any
make
of those
sure,
other
yeah, that you
avenues that
shine.
are
Your
important.
kids, you want to show up for your kids. You want to show up, be a good friend and be a good son and all of those types of things. But there has to be, we have to realize that our first ministry is to each other. We like whatever we're giving to other things cannot be at the point where it takes everything from us, that we have nothing left for each other,
Right.
you know.
And I think, again, I'm guilty. Like I can really, I think I grew up on this like work
Hmm.
type ethic. And and a part of my love language is the ability to be able to do things,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
To be able to, I feel like a level of satisfaction when I've gotten things done. If I've
Hmm.
accomplished,
Hmm.
a few things. But I think that you can definitely find yourself spread thin,
Yeah.
because you've given, and I mean, I know there's been plenty of times I just come home and I'm just like
Yeah.
in bed. I'm not trying to talk
I
about
don't want to talk.
nothing.
Don't touch me. Don't do
I'm just
this.
mindlessly watching
Yeah.
ratchet TV,
Yeah.
and
and
that's all I
and
want to
and,
do.
and it's we have it reversed, like it
Right.
shouldn't be. I go to my job and I'm like, hey, good morning, hey, how you doing? Oh, sure, I could do that. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, I'll fix
Right?
it.
You got all the energy
Like
for the
we
niceness,
we
the
give it
kindness,
all, and we're so nice to the
the
kids, and
grace.
we're like, oh, give me a hug. Oh, you drew this for me. Oh, you want to talk? And then we get to our spouse and we like,
Don't try me.
right. And we have nothing left. We have nothing left
I'm
for our
done.
spouse,
I'm
right?
spent. Okay.
And like I said, it's not that you don't give, like you give other people your worst, but you don't want it so depleted that you have nothing left. Like you don't even have the decency and the courtesy and the
because
love
you're
for your
tired, you're
spouse. Yeah.
drained, and so
And I'm not saying that it's a perfect world, that it's all like we're always going to be able to balance it the right way,
mhm,
but look at what your consistency is. Like, are you always coming in drained? Are you always like too tired for each other? Are you always aggravated? And just reevaluate, what are some areas that I can start to pull back a little bit on,
mhm, mhm.
so that I can show up.
Well, I'll say one thing that I think we didn't mention in the
Mm-hmm,
show, which
mm-hmm.
I think you can kind of tell from the show, but we didn't actually mention it. I think for us, it was extremely helpful to move from the tri-state to
Yeah.
the country,
Yep.
or southern state, I
Mm-hmm.
should say,
Mm-hmm.
because it's still very, um, it's still very like it
It's a
has
mixture.
urban,
Yeah.
spaces or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not like we're out like, well, there are cows down the street, but I'm just saying, it's not like I wouldn't say
Right.
it's not a farm, but I mean, I guess
There are
depends on
some
what you right,
farms.
what you
Yeah.
want to call it.
But there
But there's
there
a
is
Target
like,
around the
yeah,
corner.
there are like some businesses close by,
A lot,
and
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
the people in the area actually are from like,
Out of
out of
state.
state, Jersey, New York, things
And
like that.
yeah, and I think that that speaks to that busyness vibe. I think one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that we really appreciate for being in this area is that we were able to slow it down. We were able
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy the days.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to enjoy breathing in and breathing out. We don't
Yeah.
have like, buildings and
Right.
pollution and all, like we
Right.
do have pollution, but like not to the
Not as
level
much.
of
Yeah.
like being in the city or
Right.
being like, in the tri-state. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that that has really helped us pace
Mm-hmm.
it out, as well as like I think the pandemic started it where it was just like a complete
Shut
slowdown,
down. Yeah.
right? But I think what has helped us be able to find a good balance in it is that move that we made, because it
Mm-hmm.
it kind of took us out of that hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Like we can be busy now, but it's really um by choice. And I'm not saying that it's not by choice in the tri-state, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying it, you know what I'm saying?
It's just a different
It's a different
level of pressure.
vibe,
Yeah.
right? Like, why
And
people move away, like they
right.
retire to
Right.
like the southern states
Yeah.
because there's a slower pace.
Yeah. And we are born and raised in Jersey, in the tri-state area, used to going to the city every weekend. Like, we are used to that. We were used to that hustle and bustle, and that, kind of
Lifestyle.
that lifestyle. But when we moved here, we were like concerned about the slowness, and we thought we was, not gonna like it and everything. But this is something we didn't even know that we needed. Like,
Yes.
it was so beneficial to us.
Yes.
It may not be for everybody. We're not
Right.
saying everybody move,
Right.
down south or anything like that. But for us, it worked, and it helped us to shift our mindset.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's a great point, that
Thank you.
even look at your surroundings, look at where you're located, look at where you live, and if there's an opportunity to go someplace that's less stressful, that might be
Do
an
it.
option. That might be an
I
option
mean,
for you.
people make decisions like that every day for
Yeah.
quality of life, really,
Yeah.
is what it turns
Yeah.
out to be.
We went to Dominican Republic for our honeymoon many moons ago.
15 years ago, y'all. We need another trip.
But when we went there, like, you can see there were people that clearly were not as well off as people in the States. You know what I mean? And they didn't have these big houses. Some were living in huts, some were living like right on top of other huts and things like that. But they enjoyed life so much, and they were so happy.
Mm-hmm.
They were so like carefree. And I was like, yo, like, I could live on a hut somewhere around here and be, no, a bigger hut. Like,
I mean, give me a beach by
a beach.
like,
Mm-hmm.
like the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, we could live on that resort.
Mm-hmm.
Not really that resort, but like, that kind of feel where you're just coming out. There's the ocean, there's the water. Listen, I'm feeling retirement like vibes. Like, I want to come out and be on my back patio and see the ocean and smell the seawater. Like that.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like,
my point is that, it's about the quality of life.
right.
And sometimes you're not able to get the quality that you're looking for in the area that you're in.
Yes.
Good
point. Good point.
Not because of your own doing, but that's just
right.
the culture of
Sometimes
that
we need
area.
to shift.
Yeah.
Just like we need to shift our investment and our priorities, sometimes we need to shift our actual environment,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you have not had a chance to check out tonight's episode 4, Are You Too Busy for Each Other? It is okay, because you can catch the replay on the InspireU, the letter U
Yes.
network. It'll be available Friday afternoon. Every Friday in the afternoon, you'll be able to watch the most recent episode and also go back and catch the replays.
Absolutely. And make sure you stay to the end, because we have an activity that is really, really cool. It's a good piece of advice, something you can do yourself as a couple
Change the
to change the
scenery.
scenery, slow down, and be more engaged with each other.
Definitely. So, always, you guys, if you have questions, comments, things that you have been doing that you found has helped you guys slow down and connect better and invest time in each other, feel free to
drop it in the comments.
Yeah,
let us know. Maybe we'll try it in our next episode.
Come on
Who
now.
knows?
You never know.
So let us know. But we love y'all for supporting us, and we hope that what we offer is valuable and it helps your marriage. So we're going to sign off for tonight. But before we go, remember to stay connected
and to stay together.
All right, end.
Wait, I should turn the song back on.
Oh, you're going to turn it?
Hold on.
Yep.
Real relationships, real conversations.
Remember
this is who we are. This is Couples Connect. Real relationships, real conversations.
That was it.
That
was it.
Wait, I'm off now.
This is Couples Connect.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Couples Connect.